What's going on, guys? Matt here from Crypto Coffee. Don't really know what I'm going to be talking about today. I don't even know what thumbnail I'm going to do. Maybe I'll try to make it clickbaity as well, just so you guys watch. And whatever I'm talking about today, it's going to be really, really important. So you're going to want to listen to the whole thing. Like, subscribe, and check out the description below for some cool links if you guys want to check out any kind of, just browse the internet. I got some cool links down there. But yeah, what are we talking about today? Oh, I don't know. Maybe all-time HEX highs. Maybe that's a good topic. Yeah, we got this nice big green candle here. 0.0043. It's 4.3 thousandths of a dollar. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. As far as my last video goes, again, you guys can come to whatever conclusions you want to about all the FUD that's out there about this coin. All I'm trying to say is, listen, I made my own decision, and you're free to make yours too. The thing is, recycling, blah, 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 that seems to be the only thing anyone wants to talk about. I mean, if I literally named this video HEX Recycling Exposed, that would probably get more clicks, but I'm probably not going to do that. But that would probably get like 10 times as many clicks as a normal video. Because I'm sure that's what everyone's searching for. Literally, listen, I'm not confirming or denying it. I think you can decide for yourself and choose whether or not you care. But all I'm saying is, I don't really care. This is a risk that I am willing to accept, and I'm just going to move on with my life. It's as simple as that. So I'm not going to waste my time arguing with people on the internet. And if we lose our money, if I lose my money, and if all of us hexers lose our money, let us learn the hard way. Let's learn from our mistakes. And if this is all one big elaborate plot for Richard Hart to get rich at the expense of everyone else, well then, I'm sure we'll learn that eventually, right? And all of you haters can have that vindication. But really, until then, I don't really know what else you can say at this point. New all-time highs. Rather than getting all angry about this coin, and the higher it goes, I'm sure the angrier you guys will get, because you'll feel a sense of FOMO, and you'll feel like, well, it has to be a scam because I didn't buy it. And maybe one day you'll be vindicated, but I think you're going to be waiting, like I said, a long time for that day to come. Instead of getting all angry and worked up and fighting these little arguments in these little tiny niches on the internet, go do something productive with your life. Don't. And I know some of you guys are going to take that and be personally offended, and you're going to feel like leaving a comment on the YouTube video to hope that I'll read it, which, guys, I really don't I gloss over any comment if I can tell from the first, 3 words that it's, just a hater comment. I don't really bother with it. Insightful comments I'll be happy to read, but anyway, rather than using all your energy and getting all worked up, getting all anxious and all that stuff, arguing with random people that you've never met on the internet, just walk away. That shit'll make you depressed and anxious. And really, there's no point in getting yourself all riled up in your apartment alone. I'm sure many of you are right now in quarantine. And you're just sitting around waiting for that big gotcha moment, because it's going to feel so good when you could say, haha, I was right. And good thing I didn't invest in that token, right? So I'm smart. So, it'll justify your existence. I get that. But it's a much better option just to walk away. Again, if you don't like this project, don't come anywhere near it. We don't really need you guys around, and you'll be better off. We'll be better off. And basically, hating on this project is not going to change anyone's mind. If anything, you're just going to feed more interest and enthusiasm around the project by making more attention around it. So the best thing you could possibly do for HEX is hate on it and cause attention. So if you really want the project to fail, I think the best thing you could probably do is just ignore it and let it fail on its own merit, because, apparently it's so shitty that it just went, 60 times up in the past 4 months. But anyway, anyone looking for their big gotcha moment, you got it already. You guys have articles online where they, proof of recycling or proof of scam. And HEX has been proved to be a scam by 3 or 4 articles on the internet that some random people wrote, so you guys got what you wanted. Congratulations. It's okay. You won. Anyway, for those of us still listening, hopefully you're still with me here. I want to talk about just a few ideas and stuff that relates to HEX, but might not be exactly about it. So it's a little bit more philosophical. The first idea is basically, I heard this from a podcast or just a YouTube video by Naval Ravikant, who is a multi-millionaire, I think a billionaire, just investor, VC guy, super smart, super woke. Yeah, just the kind of guy that you want to listen to, because apparently he's just the type of guy that knows what he's doing. Anyway, he says that wealth is a positive sum game, right? So a lot of people have this misconception that in order for me to get wealthy, I have to take from somebody else and give it to myself. And I think that's a lot like the misconception a lot of people in crypto have. Like, wealth is a positive sum game. If we create an idea that creates enough wealth for everybody, then the majority of the people get rich in the process. I mean, HEX is an example, but like, let's not even use HEX. Let's just use a new company, right? So a company, let's say a consulting company that does digital advertising for people. This might be a company started by one or a small group of people, and they reach out to local businesses and they try to, sell their services. And their whole goal is to create more wealth for other people, and thus, in the process, they siphon off a little bit of that extra created wealth for themselves that they rightfully deserve. And this is how the world works, okay? Just because I create a company, or just because I'm making money or you're making money, I mean, sure, there are scams out there. There are people that literally steal and they lie and they cheat. But in most of the cases, the vast majority of people are doing this the right way, and they're creating something of value that can enrich a lot more people than it doesn't. Now look at crypto as a whole. Let's not even talk about HEX right now. So crypto's made a lot of people very, very rich. And I would say that Bitcoin and crypto is a positive sum game, because there used to be no crypto, and now there is crypto. So there's this concept that used to not be and now is. So now that it is, it's a way for people to transfer economic value over to, which in turn raises the perceived value of these digital tokens. The more economic energy is transferred into this domain, the higher perceived value it has to the outside world, and the better off the pie gets bigger, and everyone gets either the same piece or a bigger piece of a bigger pie. If I have 1% of a pie and the pie gets bigger and I still have 1% of that pie, I didn't get anything else. I just got the benefit of the additional wealth created by society. Anyway, he also says that status, on the other hand, is a zero-sum game, which, I can kind of debate that. Status, in some cases, is a zero-sum game, like especially when you see all these YouTube influencers and like people fighting for that. I think fame is a zero-sum game, right? So attention. People have a finite amount of attention, right? And they can only give it to a certain amount of people in a day. And that's why you see famous people and stars, they come and go over time. The famous YouTuber from last week that, ate a glass of his own shit just to get views is probably not going to be famous in the next few weeks, because everyone's moved on. They've already just made fun of that guy and they moved on to the next thing. So the game of status and the game of chasing status is a more of a zero-sum game. And unfortunately, and what Richard Hart, I think, is trying to do is he's trying to play both right now. So he's trying to do the wealth game, the wealth creation game, which is crypto in general. I mean, all this shit came out of nowhere, right? So it's all, a benefit as long as you're not like a day trader that's trying to time the market. That's one thing I want to point out. Traders will lose money in any market, not just crypto. So just because somebody lost money in a trade, let's say somebody bought this top here and sold down here, it's not because any of this is a scam. It's because trading is dangerous and investing is a better strategy. If you think you're going to be a day trader and you want to make that your full-time job and learn from your mistakes and take meticulous, careful notes, be my guest. I've seen it work before. But the vast majority of you guys, you're not going to be a professional trader. And now that you have the ability to, just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? Anyway, status is a zero-sum game because, it's the flavor of the week. People are famous for a limited time only, although some people do create a legacy, right, that stands the test of time. Famous people that you hear about in the news, or that you hear about in history books. Alexander the Great, Nikola Tesla, people like that just stand the test of time because they're their work was so brilliant and they led such an exceptional life. Anyway, a lot of the status, the playing around on YouTube, at least that's from what I see, is people trying to take status away from other people and people trying to be in the limelight a little bit just by hating on somebody else. And to get their little tiny moment in the limelight, you know, they'll hate on anybody, or they'll do the popular thing and they'll do the flavor of the week kind of thing just because they know that it's going to be the popular, the more thing that's going to get them more clicks. And so I could easily make a video. Actually, you know, I think there's like people on YouTube that are literally just like, I think it's kind of scummy, but they literally make their whole YouTube channels on like exposing other influencers, which is really funny. So let me go find like a guy like that. Take a look at this guy. This guy literally gets all of his views. He's got almost 70,000 subscribers. He's just making videos that are shitting on other people. I mean, look, you've got He Who Must Not Be Named. Graham Stephan is wrong about fake gurus. And he's just like the calling out gurus guy. Like like I said, if you find what you're looking for, and if you're looking for somebody to call out somebody else, you're going to find a lot of that stuff. Let's take a look at some of these titles. Jake Paul is having a rough time. Oh no. You know, Bill Gates is canceled. Like, Bill Gates? Like, you're going to make a video about Bill Gates? Bill Gates is canceled? He invented Microsoft, dude. My take on the London Real guy. And then look, I'm selling a fake guru course. This guy is literally selling a course about how to spot fake gurus. Like, that seems like the biggest waste of fucking time you can possibly imagine. Like, what kind of value is that providing? You're selling a course about how to call out bullshit from people? Like, if you waste all your time on YouTube trying to hunt people down and call bullshit on them, you're going to end up wasting all your time doing nothing productive. You know, some of these guys might be total bullshitters. I don't know. I don't have time to watch almost anybody really on YouTube. I don't subscribe to a lot of people. But look at this guy plagiarizing with Andre Geek, like confronting a 19-year-old millionaire visionary in quotes, like as if he's like the guy that calls people out. I mean, it's just kind of like a sad existence if that's your thing. You're the I call people out online guy. It's like you don't really have any value to add other than calling people out. And unfortunately, there's a whole subset of humanity out there that just loves it. That just loves, like, you know, armchair quarterbacks. Like, oh yeah, he should have done this, or you know, I'm glad I didn't fall for his course and stuff like that. So I don't even know this guy, so I feel bad even trying to call him out. But it's just like some nerdy looking guy sitting in his apartment, you know, typical apartment, calling out like this other guy, Sam Ovens, and people just spend all their time online arguing about shit that doesn't matter. Like, stop wasting your time and go out and create something. And by the way, the Sam Ovens guy created like a multi-million-dollar business, which I know for a fact.
Don't want to break all the traditional rules of advertising.
Anyway, I mean, look at this shit on YouTube. It's just like, you know, ridiculous stuff. It's, you know, I guess the moral of the story is that people just do nothing, and people just sit on their asses all day. And you can even bank, like, there's a whole sector of people out there. There's a market for people that are looking for scams, right? So you can, like, this CoffeeZilla guy made a YouTube channel, and I feel bad for calling him out. I don't even know the guy personally, but like, you can market to any group of people that gets views, right? So if you want to market to the people that hate hacks or the people that hate cryptocurrency X or cryptocurrency Y, there is a channel for that. There's probably a channel for Bitcoin haters too. There's probably multiple channels for, you know, reasons why Bitcoin will never work. So if you want to waste all your time hating on something, just realize what you're doing. But anyway, that's why I think Naval Ravikant says status is a zero-sum game, is because, you know, everyone's fighting for the same limited attention. And fortunately, the good ideas get the vast majority of the attention. As you can see, a guy that makes his living on hating on other people has a relatively low following compared to somebody that's actually making a difference in the world. People that are really making a difference, by the way, they don't have YouTube. A lot of them don't have YouTube channels. A lot of them do, but a lot of them don't because they're really busy doing other stuff. Anyway, that's hypocritical. I have a YouTube channel. It's only got 500 subscribers, so I'm small peanuts right now, but that's all I'm trying to say is just like think about things in perspective. And I know it's fun to waste your time getting all tribal. And this whole idea of like micro-tribalism is this term I invented that I think the internet has given us the gift of what I call micro-tribalism, which means it's fragmented our boundaries so much that it's given us so many teams and sides to pick that it's really hard to tell shit from Shinola. It's really hard to tell what's right, what's wrong, and whatever. All I can say is just try to find the truth for yourself, but don't get sucked into these weird hatred whirlpools, because it's a vicious cycle, and you're gonna make yourself just really anxious and depressed, just spending all your time being like an internet, like a Reddit guy that just goes on Reddit to argue with people. Anyway, wealth, positive sum game, status, zero sum game. I think status in terms of legacy can actually be a positive sum game, but that was the idea of Naval, his statements. And people not understanding and people having these false preconceived notions about how money is the root of all evil, and like to be wanting to make money is somehow evil because in order to make money you have to take from somebody else. And that's communism, guys. That's like socialism. I think generally in a capitalist, I'm not saying capitalism is, holy and almighty. Like there's probably a better system out there too. But this what works out great almost all the time for everyone is the idea that there's an infinite supply of wealth because there's an infinite potential for human ideas. And so that's the point I wanted to get across. Ideas are limitless. The best ideas will succeed, and the people that attach on to the better ideas will end up doing well for themselves. Another quote about just proof and all these gotcha moments in general. Nassim Taleb says in Black Swan, and he's also echoed by like Terence McKenna, who's a philosopher, and some other people as well. Absence of proof is not proof of absence, right? So I love that quote, that absence of proof is not proof of absence. So just because you don't have any proof of something doesn't mean that that's proof that of the opposite. Doesn't mean that it's proof that that thing is not true. So just because you can't prove that any of this crypto stuff is going to work doesn't mean that you can prove that it's not going to work. Like people might say, oh, there's no proof of a valid use case, right, for crypto or any of this, any of these cryptos. And just because there might not be proof of a valid use case yet does not mean that that's proving that there are no valid use cases. It's time will tell. And also, we all, there's a lot of silent evidence out there that we're not looking at. A lot of, we focus on a very narrow spectrum of reality. And there might be a lot out there that you just might not really be aware of. So, even by thinking you've examined all the facts, that is always going to be a fallacy because there's always things that you by nature cannot know. And I'm not claiming to know everything either. I'm by no means pretending to know everything. You shouldn't listen to some guy that has a YouTube channel just because he has a YouTube channel and because he has a nice microphone and because he's wearing a jacket and talking into a camera. Think for yourself, guys. I don't know how much I could say that. A lot of people, a lot of crypto YouTubers in general, and I was just thinking about I don't like calling people out, but like Tone Vase in particular. A lot of people conflate being right with being smart. But in reality, what it is a lot of the time is just luck. It's luck and being in the right place at the right time. So just because somebody bought Bitcoin in 2011 doesn't necessarily mean they're a genius, right? Maybe it does, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they were just because they happened to buy a lot of Bitcoin. So you see cases out there of people putting way too much credence and way too much believability into people just because they happen to make a few smart decisions or maybe only one smart decision. Like what you want to look for is a track record of many successes over time, not just one. So, people hail Tone as like this Bitcoin maximalist god or whatever. He was right about Bitcoin, but I don't really know, much of what else he's done. So like, I'm not saying he's not a good guy. Like I like him. He's a smart dude, I'm sure, but not like a genius level that you might not want to listen to him for like, you might not want to listen to any of these people for all of your advice and just have like, you know, blind faith in anybody. Like think about like, it goes for HEX too. Don't have blind faith in Richard Hart. In fact, you should have no faith in Richard Hart at all. You should try to look at the functionality of the project, look at the code, look at what it does, and then think for yourself, is this a good idea? Given all of the information, all the stuff that could happen, is it still a good idea? I decided the answer was yes, but you make that decision yourself. So now you can be the type of person that also exposes yourself to luck a lot by taking these risks and like being in crypto and being exposed to all these potential black swan events or white swan events or whatever you want to call them. You can create your own luck. I believe that. Like I think that you can expose yourself to high risk events more so than not. And that way, you know, they'll tend to find you a little bit more often than somebody that maybe has their head in the sand or that is not taking these risks anymore or at all. So just because you were right once doesn't mean you're a savant genius. If you were right and had multiple successes over and over, okay, maybe there's something worth listening to there. And even so, luck plays a larger factor in all this stuff than we could possibly really know. So again, you can expose yourself to luck, but be careful who you listen to because a lot of people get right once and then they travel the world for 10 years and don't do anything and just make YouTube videos. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much shit. Anyway, so my strategy kind of lies in the way that I want to create wealth for myself is by exposing myself to a lot of these high risk potential events and just waiting. So it's a really patient waiting game in crypto, especially just like to find a coin that's worth its salt or even to find Bitcoin in general would have been a very patient waiting game. Like you would have had to wait for 10 years to really get that 1 million X that creates generational wealth, you know? I wasn't there in 2011. I got there late. I was very late to the party. But 2015 is still not bad. But, you know, it's a waiting game, right? And so people that expose themselves to risk have to wait a long time for that one high impact outlier event. And then, you know, you could be set for 10 years on one event if you're playing that game. If you're playing the consistency game of seeking, regular rewards, you know, getting that monthly paycheck or that salary over and over, you can do that too. And, you know, society tends to look upon that a lot more favorably because, you're not looked at as like a failure, right? Like look at like the starving artist, right? They probably have these really ambitious dreams that, you know, one day they're going to do something amazing. But before that happens, everyone's just looking at them like, what are you doing, man? Get your shit together. Right? So I'm trying to play both games at the same time, but I'm really much more attracted to the Black Swan game, like the high impact, low probability game. And really all I'm trying to do is expose myself to as much luck and as much risk as I possibly can. Well, I can afford to. Well, my health is good and, you know, well, I have very, very few dependencies and things, responsibilities in my life, quite frankly. And anyway, you know, it can be hard to walk the path, especially to just hold crypto and not be sure if it's all going to go to zero or if HEX is going to die, any of that stuff. I find it's helpful to find the others, you know, find the community of people that is like-minded to you. Be careful because a lot of that stuff is an echo chamber, but find the true individuals that want what you want and want to work with you to help get you to where you want to go and to help you achieve the same goals. A lot of these echo chambers are all talk, no action. So when I say find the others and find the group of people, I mean find the people that take action towards where you want to go. Find the people that want to go where you want to go and that are actually doing things and, you know, speaking with their actions. You know, actions speak a lot louder than words. All right, guys, that's it for today. I'm done ranting. HEX new all-time highs. Hope we all get rich. Buy HEX in the link below. Like, subscribe. Have a good one.